Hello again. Today we're doing derivatives of trig functions, but now we're going to focus in this video only over quotient rule. So we have 3 examples right here, and they're all rational functions, or functions that I can apply the quotient rule if I break it out just right. Okay, this is my sticky note so I can remember what the formula is for the quotient rule. And here we go. So we're going to name f of x is 4. F prime x is 0, because I know the derivative of a constant, any constant really, is 0. So the g function will be tangent x plus 8. The derivative of that function is right there, secant squared. Now we have everything we need. I really like when I have the derivative equals 0. It makes my life easier. Okay, off we go. So finding the derivative of this function right here, I need f prime, so 0. Anything times 0, I don't even have to bother to multiply that by the g function right there. So I know this is going to be 0, so off I go. Negative f is 4, times g prime is that one. So secant squared of x, everything over g squared. So this is g, so tangent x plus 8 squared. Now mathematically this is correct, but I'm going to show you what you need to do or how far you need to go to simplify your answer to get full credit for this one. My journal cannot fit. There we go. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to keep going. I know secant is 1 over cosine. I was about to say sine. So we're going to keep going. Negative 4 over cosine squared of x. Now, I know tangent is sine over cosine plus 8. Okay, and all of this was squared from here. All right. So now when I need to make this better. So notice that the denominators right here are not the same. So I'm going to do a little side note over here. I'm going to keep going down here, and then I'm going to go over here up to the side. So for this right here, if I want to make cosine of x the common denominator, sine doesn't change, sine of x doesn't change, but then I have to multiply 8 by cosine of x if I'm going to keep the common denominator as being cosine of x. So 8 cosine of x. Okay, so I'm going to use this for this denominator right there. On the same step, because you guys can handle it, you're super smart. So I have a fraction divided by another fraction. When I have a fraction divided by another fraction, it's the same as if I multiply by the reciprocal. So negative 4 over cosine squared of x times the reciprocal of this, and this is all squared, okay? When I have all of this squared, it means I have the numerator squared, I have the denominator squared. Look how many things I'm doing at the same time. So the reciprocal of this will be cosine squared over sine x plus 8 cosine of x squared. Because this whole thing is squared, that means I can just square the numerator and square the denominator. Okay, at the same time by multiplying by the reciprocal. Now we're getting somewhere here. Cosine squared, I can simplify that. Now bring it all back together, and that's going to be the final answer for full credit, guys. So negative 4 over sine of x plus 8 cosine of x squared. Please, please, please don't forget that beautiful squared right there. So now this looks like full credit. Okay, 5 minutes just for one question. Okay, question 2. We have one that when I'm trying to find the derivative of the numerator, I would not have 0. And that's not pretty. But it's okay, we're smart, we can handle it. It's not as bad as it looks. Okay. F will be cosine. F prime will be negative sine. G is -1 plus sine. Notice that throughout this example, now you already know that all of these trig functions, they have the x right there. But just so we don't spend our lives away over here on a 30-minute video, we don't need that. Now, the derivative of any function is 0. Okay, great. So the derivative of -1 will be 0. The derivative of sine will be cosine. Okay, now I have everything I need to plug that in the function. Off we go. So h prime x, f prime, negative sine. G is right there. Minus f is cosine. G prime, cosine. Noticed my negative right there with the brackets right there. Okay, this negative will always get me unless you make it a point for it not to get you. Okay, everything over g squared. This is g, -1 plus sine squared. Okay, distribute. We will distribute this negative sign right there, and we will also deal with that negative. So negative sign times -1 is positive sign. Negative sign times positive sign is negative sine squared. Minus cosine times cosine. I have cosine squared over -1 plus sine squared. Okay? Now, negative sine squared minus cosine squared. If they have the same sign, that equals 1. And that's what we're going to do. So it will be the same thing as if I were factoring the negatives out. Side note right here. Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So we're going to make this equal 1. But it's not equal 1 because it's negative. It's going to be positive, -1. Okay? So sine of x minus 1, because this we agree that it's 1, but because they both have negative, that's going to make this -1. Write yourself a little side note. Doesn't hurt. Everything over -1 plus sine of x squared. I can simplify this some more. Look at that. -1, -1, sine. And since this is squared, that means -1 plus sine, -1 plus sine. So off we go. So sine x minus 1 over sine x minus 1 sine x minus 1. This will simplify because they're the same, leading you to the final full credit answer. Look at that. So 1 over sine of x minus 1. And you can choose to put parentheses there or not. This is full credit. I'll make another video with one more example.